I am so honored to be here today. It's really amazing. I met a bunch of you. I was going in and out of different workshops. I didn't have a space like this growing up that was so vocal and physical. Going to a house, going to a space. I am queer, I am trans, this is who I am, and meeting that community. My community was very internet-based. I started making YouTube videos when I was 11 years old, so probably like this tall. But it gets better. It's 2 inches better. I'm 24 years old now. Back then, it was just something fun to do after school, but as I got older, and the things that made me me, but made me different from my classmates, could be defined by words like trans and queer, I started using the internet in a different way. It became a tool to find community and to garner a language to put to how I felt that I didn't hear growing up. You know, I feel like any time that we hear LGBTQ+ stories, either in the media or like in a queer movie or somewhere online, it's always centered around coming out. You know what I mean? It's like, here's a boy, and he knows he's gay, but he's afraid everyone's gonna be mad about it. What's gonna happen next? But I think there's a bigger story that happens right before that, and it's, how do you know what gay is? Like, really think about it. How was this language passed down to you? Was it given in an educational way? Was it given to you in the form of hate? How were you able to recognize that you were having queer crushes on people if you're only seeing heterosexual relationships played out on like Disney Channel? Or how were you able to navigate your own gender identity or expression if you're told, hey, there's only this and there's only that? I think everyone's journey to coming into their own before coming out is so cool and so unique. And then there's a bigger story too that happens right after coming out, where if you're like me and it didn't go well, you're like, okay, now what? I can only describe the period of my coming out after the fact being like gay purgatory, right? Because like I was out, but like no one was cool with it. So it's like, well, do I have to keep hiding my gay texts? Are we just good? I was being me before all of you were upset about it, but like now I'm just here and I'm like, I don't really know how to move forward. And it's a really scary thing. You know, my first ever coming out experience was to a parent. This parent actually grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. So it's weird being here and seeing, I've been to Utah now 3 times this year for queer events. It's really cool. I had this idea in my head of like, okay, so that's where the devils go. Like that's what happens. But no, it's really cool that no matter where you are, you're always gonna find community and support. You just have to look for it. So my coming out was to this parent who had grown up in Utah and was at first for my sexuality. And I said the thing and they immediately hugged me. And they go, you know, I'll always love you. And I was like, T, this is great. Why was I stressed? It's fine. I'm their only kid. They don't want to die alone. It's cool. It's good. We're fine. And as I was in this parent's arms, they said, but you're still going to hell. But like being me, I was like, okay, so we can make jokes. Like I started laughing. I'm like, yes, let me burn daddy. Let's do this. We got it. Like it went so well, it seems like it's not good, right? It like passed back over, but so I'm laughing uncontrollably. They're holding me in their arms and then they pushed me away and they're like, no, I'm being serious. And that's when everything really changed for me. And I had to learn how to grow up really quick. I had to learn how to rely on myself. I had to question if I was ever gonna come out again, because that sucked and I never wanna do that. So I can't trust being open and honest about who I am to anyone else. That was the worst. You know, I really flocked to the internet and creating content. I had been doing since I was little, and then, you know, it became a real thing for me. It turns out I'm not the only sad gay teen out there. There was a lot of others. And, you know, with having a bad coming out experience, I did what I think any, you know, responsible teen would do. I decided to run away and join the circus. Not many people know this story, so can I tell it to you today? Is that cool? So, you know, gay teens flocked to my YouTube channel, and one of them messaged me on Twitter, and they're like, hey, gay, I actually am in Los Angeles, and I am working for the circus, and I'd love to meet you. If you want free tickets, come through, let's do this. So I was like, yeah, stranger danger, let's do the thing. So I got in my car. I was a late teenager. I drove 2 hours from my hometown into Los Angeles, a place where always wanted to be. I heard they had rainbow crosswalks. It was it. And I went in and I saw the circus with this other queer. It was what you'd expect. You know, it was the circus, but the world within it was something that I didn't expect and I really, really needed. So there was hundreds of performers, all from somewhere else. There was only one person from America. There was people from Mongolia, China, Australia. By the way, all very queer, lots of queer people in the circus. And they all had unique skills and talents and differences, but every night they would come together and they would put on a big show. And me, struggling with my own uniqueness and how people would see that, was in awe. So there was a train that they all lived on. It went for a mile long, and for the 7 months that the circus went on, they would travel around America, stopping in different towns and cities. So they were docked in all around Southern California for 3 weeks, and that's where my journey began. I started sneaking out of the house for the next several weeks and going to the train tracks, visiting with circus folk and like elderly queers, and being accepted into a community for the first time as who I actually am. And that was a really crazy thing. You don't really realize how much you need people until you need people. So as I was garnering friendships with these casts of crazy people, my YouTube channel started to change as well. I started getting the confidence to be me because it was backed up by the community that supported me. I started dyeing my leg hair purple. I cut my hair short. I cut my hair short for the first time. And I really started to step into who I was, but all I could think about was how the clock was ticking and all my new friends and chosen family were about to leave and head up north to continue the show for the next 6 months. And I just kept thinking, like, I wish I could just join them. I wish I could just get on the train and go with them and leave all these homophobic people behind. And then I thought, like, why can't I? So, you know, for legal reasons, I'm not saying that I, like, forged my mom's signature so I could be, like, the new person giving out peanuts and stuff in the circus. But I was about to go to this circus. So I don't know how I was gonna come out to my parents like the second time, like, hey, I'm not just gay, but I'm gay and joining a gay circus, love me, bye. I don't know how I was gonna do it, but you know, it was a couple days before, it was the day before, it was the morning of, and I called my friend and I told him that I wasn't gonna go. It felt less like I was running towards a life I wanted to live and more like I was running away. Also, side note, I didn't have a laptop, so like YouTube was not gonna be a thing. There's two wolves that live inside me, one's the circus, one's YouTube. They can't both exist at the same time. So I realized what I really wanted wasn't to be like this amazing circus peanut giving star, but to have that community and that I could find it elsewhere. So I made a hard decision, but I stayed. I got 3 part-time jobs. I saved up. I stopped putting so much energy into people that didn't see me for me and starting to find the people and the spaces that did accept me. And within the next 2 months, I was living in Los Angeles, and next to my house was a rainbow crosswalk. And YouTube was my job. And the moral that I get from that story and my lived experiences is that community is literally everywhere. And it's okay if you're not ready to find them just now. It's okay if you cannot step into it and be you and say, this is who I am, I'm trying to find you. It's okay if you're not ready to ask for help. But when you are and you get to that point, we're here for you. Thanks, guys.